Good morning, IT professionals. Good morning and welcome to the 8th Annual IT Professionals Conference on this beautiful June day. My name is Sarah Lean and I'm one of the co-hosts of this conference. And a tiny bit about me quick. I'm from the College of Ag and Life Sciences, where I am the desktop support supervisor, and I've had the good fortune to work with some amazing people over the past 5 years, and the privilege to work on this conference for the past 3. With all the outstanding people that have made it is what it is today. Quite literally, without you, there would not be a conference. And that's what I love about the IT Professional Conference, is that it's a conference that's created by the IT community for the IT community. And it's to celebrate all the awesome and great things that we do all over campus and get to share them with each other, which makes this a wonderful theme. It's honoring IT, which is great to be able to do. And it also means that we have a wonderful variety of sessions for you today. And we hope it's going to be an interesting and engaging conference for you all, and hope that you enjoy and learn something from our sessions over the next 2 days. It showcases the wide range of what IT does across campus within our IT community groups. As an added bonus, this year we're welcoming the Cybersecurity Forward group, and we've combined that will bring us even more great content. We hope you're excited. You're excited about this as much as I am. And on that note, let's get this started. It's important that next we acknowledge is that the University of Wisconsin-Madison occupies the ancestral Ho-Chunk land and a place their nation has called Dejope since time immemorial. In the 1832 treaty, the Ho-Chunk were forced to secede this territory. A decade of ethnic cleansing followed with both the federal and state government repeatedly and unsuccessfully sought to forcibly remove the Ho-Chunk from Wisconsin. The history of colonization and informs the shared future in collaboration and innovation. Today, UW-Madison respects the inherent sovereignty of the Ho-Chunk Nation, along with the 11 other First Nations of Wisconsin. It's also important to notice that we do have a code of conduct. If you'd like to read through this, more than just on this slide right now, it is also on our website. And what this basically means is be kind. This is an online conference. It means that listening to the moderators and being considerate of others is in discussion and giving everyone a chance to talk who wants to, and leaving positive comments and questions. As a word of warning, any off-topic comments will be removed. And if you continue to attempt to derail, it's unacceptable and it's grounds for removal from the conference. But so far, we've never had a problem with that, and we'd like to keep up that we've done well in the past, and we're going to continue to do great because this is a wonderful conference and we appreciate all of you. We'd like to do a special big thank you to the Office of the CIO, Lois Brooks, Todd Schechter, IT Connects, the IT Awards Committee, Becky Morgan, and all of our wonderful presenters and moderators. There's IT and the IT community at large. I also really want to give a big thank you to our 2023 conference committees. My co-chair, Al Nemick, our project manager, Mary, and all of the wonderful people on our committees, Laurel, Marnez, Brianna, Mandy, Amanda, Bernie, Elizabeth, Mark, Chester, Mickey, Tim, and Ellen. None of this would be possible without you guys. You are brilliant, and I am so happy that I get to do this conference with you all. We also have a great, the wonderful Mandy also put together a great snapshots of what's our schedule for the next 2 days. If you'd like to take a look at that, that's also available on the website. We've got our day one and our amazing keynote speaker, which I am so looking forward to hearing what she has to say. And then we have our second day, which is so full of content. I will also want to highlight that we have an in-person coffee watch party for the IT awards ceremony. So please join in and for cheering on our amazing IT community. We also have some on-demand content and that you can watch at any time. And it's important to also know where you can find that on our webpage. And also that we're using Zoom events this year. It's the same as we did last year. So if you'll notice, a lot of people have been participating in the lobby chat. We'll be monitoring that. If you have any questions or any concerns about it, we're more than happy to jump in and help with anything that you need. So please feel free to engage in as many sessions as you want. There's a great ability to make the itinerary, to customize it to exactly what you want, and look forward to hearing all of your chats and to some amazing, wonderful sessions. And because life is better with data, as of 8 o'clock this morning, we had 385 registered participants in this conference. We have 4 pre-recorded sessions that you can jump into at any time. We have 34 live sessions and events throughout our conference. And because by popular demand, we have the coffee counter. Last year, we were at 534 units. We'll see what we can get up to this year. As you may have heard if you got in here earlier, we are trying to span Lake Mendota to see how far across we can make it in our beverages. So keep on clicking, and the coffee bar is available on our webpage. So just click away, and thank you very much. And thank you. I hope that you guys are ready for an amazing content and have a wonderful conference. And at this point, I'd like to hand it over to Nick. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nick Tincher. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the Director of Administration, Innovation, and Planning in the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration. I'm really humbled to be with you this morning. I've been so fortunate to have spent much of my nearly 21-year career at UW-Madison here in the IT community. There's a distinguished level of professionalism, ingenuity, and collaboration that have served as the hallmarks here, which has reinforced a quiet confidence and established a level of trust our faculty, our students, and our staff in our capabilities, our services, and level of care for this institution. When I started here, back in the early 2000s, Windows NT 4.0 ruled the world. There were Solaris kiosks in the old Union South. Some of you might remember that. And we had the Whisk World dial-in modem pool, which was a lot of fun. And I know some of you had a blast turning that off and decommissioning that. And at the time, I developed applications in Visual Basic 6. Now, some of you remember days before that, and some of you don't have to fill your brains with such medieval restrictive solutions that we had to deal with in the early 2000s. Now, technology is really a basic need, right? After food and water is technology is next, I think. And almost nothing happens without it. And yet it's so impressive with the unending demands, faster, better, cheaper, more secure, to see how this community comes together to keep going. So the work you do matters. All of you are masters of your craft, whether you plant yourself, wherever you plant yourself on the IT tapestry. The dedication to problem solving, the tenacity in finding new and better ways to do things, while dutifully caring and feeding for those things that you just find awful. And despite the seemingly logical professions we find ourselves in, the creativity you all bring every day has supported, enabled, and advanced the teaching, research, and outreach missions of our institutions in such a way that UW-Madison is esteemed and remains so across the world. You have an opportunity today and tomorrow to invest in your knowledge and be intentional about professional development. It's extremely important in our world today and in our service to the institution. You're doing exactly the right thing being here, learning from one another. And I guarantee you will have a rewarding experience in the next 2 days. Some folks who have been here for a long time, I encourage you to reach out to new names, new faces, and those who have not been with us for so long, I encourage you to do the same thing. As I said, this is a community. The IT community on this campus thrives on the connections and the relationships and the collaborations we have with one another across the campus. So I'm looking forward to a very productive next 2 days for all of us. And I hope that you find it very knowledgeable and enjoyable, and you take some things with you into the future that you can point back to. Yep, I learned that in the 7th annual IT Professionals Conference. So thanks very much for having me this morning. And Amanda, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thanks, Nick. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker, Courtney Terry. Courtney is the Assistant Director of Information Technology for the Technology Support Services Department in the Office of the COO at Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School. She has 20 years of experience in leading and directing IT projects in medical education technology, launching various projects from inception to implementation. Courtney leads the academic business systems team, or academic and business systems team, oversees the educational technologies, academic systems, and operational support for Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School and Rutgers School of Graduate Studies in Newark. Courtney, it's wonderful to have you here. She's coming to us from Denver, and the internet connection's a little bit choppy. She's very smooth from this end, but not so smooth the other end. So we're hoping it stays great. If we have some technical difficulties, we'll figure them out. And there's only one slide, and it's from at the end. So we get to listen to Courtney for the whole time. So take it away, Courtney.
Okay, awesome. Hello, everyone. Can you see me? Or are you just looking at my slide?
We can see your slide, but then we'll take the slide down and then it'll just be you. There.
I want to see your faces.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. So thank you, Amanda, and thank you all for being here. So before I begin, I just want to give you a little bit of background about me and just some fun facts, just because we'll be getting to know each other for the next hour or so. So I was born in Newark, New Jersey. It's an urban community, and I'm youngest of 3 daughters. I graduated from Rutgers University with a degree in public health, and I actually worked for that same institution. Some fun facts about me: I've skydived at 10,000 feet. It was a tandem jump. I'm not that daring. And I also ran several half marathons and 1 full marathon, 26.2 miles. So enough of my fun facts, and let's get to why you are all here today. The topic of today is all about embracing your journey in IT. So we know that information technology industry, we know that there's no linear pathway. There's no straight line to success, because it's constantly changing and it's constantly evolving. And as individuals, when we think about our careers and what we want to be and who we want to be, we tend to focus way too much on the final destination, on our personal goals, and we compare ourselves and we think, what we think our career should be, where we think we should be, but we neglect the present and we neglect the right now. And those are the things that shape us, along the way. So we need to set back, maybe reset our minds, and just stop for a moment and embrace our journey, because every experience and every step plays a key role in getting us and where we need to be on our paths, and give us individual perspectives that we can bring into our careers as well. So I just want to share with all of you my story, all about my story in my leadership, in my journey into leadership. So as Amanda stated, I'm an assistant director in information technologies at Rutgers, and I oversee academic systems and education technologies within the medical school and the Rutgers School of Graduate Studies. And I am still on my journey. I'm not sure what my final destination will be, but I'm content with where I am right now, but I do know, that I do want more. And like many of you out there, we don't know exactly, we may not know exactly what we need to do or where we want to be, but we do know that we need to establish some type of plan, right? Some plan so that we can but we need to make sure that that plan is fluid. We need to make sure that that plan is flexible and subject to change, because one thing's for sure, change happens in IT. I'm trying my best to embrace opportunities as they come along and create brand new opportunities as they for myself when I can, and push through obstacles when they come my way. But so we've all heard the saying, first impressions are important, right? We all heard about first impressions and how important it is. So first impressions are important. First impressions can be long lasting. First impressions matter. Well, in my case, it was all true. First impressions played a significant part in my journey and in my career. So as I tell my story today, you'll hear a common thread, a theme about first impressions, because so many of my opportunities for advancement came about as a result of a good first impression. So I've been working at the medical school for 20 years now. I started as a business analyst, and initially I was assigned to a couple of small projects here and there, just trying my best to be a contributor, trying my best to find my niche and find my footing in just such a large institution like Rutgers. And within the first year as a business analyst, an opportunity had presented itself, and I took advantage of that opportunity, which ultimately helped in my career. So let me explain. At the time, there was a project that had failed, which cost the institutions thousands of dollars, like close to 100K. The education curriculum was all paper-based, no electronic system in place for things like grading and evaluations, reporting, and so forth. And Rutgers was all paper-based, the medical school at the time. And I know I'm dating myself, but the goal was to move from paper to an online environment. So they purchased a course management system, and it was purchased by the senior dean without any buy-in from any stakeholders. He thought he was doing well by purchasing this, bringing technology to the school, but he didn't get any buy-in from the stakeholders. And we all know that that's like a big no-no and a detriment to any project. That's like project management 101. And when it was time to launch this project, the project failed miserably. And the Office of Education and the course and clerkship directors, they all rejected the program, which all just created this big uproar. The senior dean, who was responsible for the project, who had done the actual purchasing, he noticed me from a previous meeting and on one of the smaller projects that I mentioned earlier. So he saw my work ethic and he entrusted me to take on this complex project. I knew, I was actually surprised because I knew who he was, but I didn't think he knew who I was. Dr. So-and-so knows me, Courtney, really? But obviously I made a good impression on him. This senior dean, he selected me. He recommended that I lead this project based on just a short experience of working with me. First impressions are important. First impressions can be long lasting. First impressions matter. So my task my tasks were to make the users happy, to meet, customer satisfaction, and to correct the wrong that was done by deploying this product in in such an unacceptable state in the first place. Another task was to make use of the thousands of dollars that was originally spent to create the system, and to get it aligned with the overall goals, the strategic goals of the Office of Education. So I had some big tasks, but fast forward 20 years later, this same course management system that we refer to as EduMan, Education Management System, it still exists. So there's been several iterations of it throughout the years, but the foundation remains, and it's a vital system that's used in our institution today. And it was later on adopted by the graduate school as well. So this homegrown course management system, introduced and implemented technology in the area of education at Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School. So this is my legacy, my imprint into the medical school, and I am proud of the value that I've added. But I tell you the truth, I've never thought in terms that I was playing like such a key role in transforming education through technology at the school. I never thought that what I was doing was special, not knowing that this was going to be, a stepping stone in my career. So first impressions are important. I'm just going to keep talking about it. First impressions are long lasting because I'm going to drill this in your head. First impressions matter. So I want you to embrace your journey and trust the process along the way. So I was able to use that opportunity of leading this project, not only as my contribution to the institution in a positive way, but it also allowed me to establish my footing and advance in my career. Now, I know I may, have made it sound like, oh, this was just so easy. Oh, yeah, first impressions, that's great. But believe me, it wasn't easy at all. There was so much negativity that surrounded this project. It had such a poor reputation, and anyone who was associated was just looked upon, negatively as well, right? So some people didn't want to see change. Some people didn't want to make any adjustments to their workflows and their processes. Some stakeholders were just outright mean and nasty. How dare we ask them to change? I received a lot of pushback from the faculty and some of the user community. But did I give up? Absolutely not. I was afraid of failure, though. I was afraid to fail. I was afraid to disappoint this dean who had so much trust in me. I admit that I was intimidated by some of the stakeholders, but I knew that I couldn't show it. I knew that I couldn't show it. I had to develop this thick skin. I had to be confident in my mission. But I pushed through the challenges, and I pushed through them in fear. I may have said some, not so great, bad, maybe some bad words here and there under my breath. But overall, I focused on the tasks ahead and on the overall mission. I thought to myself, yeah, you probably don't really like me that much now, but when I get this system working for you, you're going to love me. So I'm not going to worry about how you feel about me right now. And later on, that project was a success. I was able to turn around a failed project that cost almost $100K and make it into a successful one. I was able to establish the academic and business systems unit, my own area, my very own area, an area that did not exist in the medical school prior to this project, all one project, which changed my career. And I started as a business analyst. I used that opportunity of leading this project and leveraged my position and formed my own group. I advanced to a project leader, then promoted to a manager, and now assistant director for information technology. But I must reiterate that the original opportunity came about as a result of a good first impression. So what am I going to say? First impressions are important. First impressions can be long lasting. First impressions matter. Embrace your journey, trust the process, and remember it is a stepping stone in your journey. So my journey, like many of you out there, consists of highs and lows, ups and downs, and peaks and valleys, like everyone else, I'm sure. There were times when I felt like I did not have a voice. There were times when I felt like I was not heard. I felt disrespected at times. I felt like some of my opinions didn't matter to people. My recommendations may have been overlooked. And it was really challenging and tough to deal with at times. And I know, as a young Black woman, I was prepared for adversity and prejudices and racial discrimination and inequities in the workforce. I knew all of this. I was prepared for it because of that talk that I have with my family as a young adult. And let me just explain the talk if you're unfamiliar with the talk. Many African-American families, and probably, most likely other families of color, have this thing called the talk. So the talk is a conversation that prepares you for all of this, or prepares you for this, for the injustices of in the world, how to act and present yourself in mainstream America. So the talk informs you, it prepares you of the do's and the don'ts, such as, things like, how to communicate with police. Yes, sir. No, sir. Stereotypes of Black men and women. For instance, you can't be too aggressive but you must be assertive because you don't want to be tagged as the angry Black man or the angry Black woman. You can't be too loud because it could then be perceived to be a little intimidating, but you can't be too quiet because you can be ignored. And you need to fit in as much as you can in terms of your overall look, appearance, your style, stay away from ethnic hairstyles, stay away from ethnic clothing. You really have to alter yourself. And I know that's a lot to pack on. That's a lot of weight to carry on your shoulders and have that balance, in the workforce. But unfortunately, this is my reality. And this is a reality for many other people out there as well. Although I was, aware of all of these things, I was prepared, I knew of all these things, I wasn't prepared quite for a frozen moment that was going to occur in my future. And I call this a frozen moment because it was such an uncomfortable situation and that I was literally like frozen in that moment. And obviously that situation stuck with me because I'm still talking about it 20 years later. It stuck with me, with my entire career. But in hindsight, though, it challenged me to become a stronger person, and it challenged me to find a voice. So let me tell you the story. So during my probationary period, I was in a meeting and someone made a racist joke. Everyone in the room started to laugh. So once the person made the joke, another person added to the joke. And then the jokes just seemed to keep going. I was infuriated. I felt invisible. I was so angry. I was boiling inside like a teapot ready to whistle. And this terrible behavior that people were doing right in front of me. How dare you say these things? I'm sitting right here. Oh my goodness, I just started working here. Not, it hasn't even been 6 months. I'm on a 6-month probationary period. Oh my God, what do I do? If I speak up, they're gonna hate me. Or even worse, oh my God, if I speak up, they're gonna fire me. All of these things were just running through my mind. And, as well as, how dare you say this? How dare you put me in a situation where I feel this uncomfortable? And how dare you say these things right in front of me? How disrespectful. And what makes you feel that you are superior, right? So after a few seconds, I just couldn't help myself. I couldn't hold my thoughts any longer. And I decided to speak up despite any, possible potential retaliation. I just had to speak up. I had to say something. It was in my career where I had to choose integrity and respect over a job. But it all worked out. Thankfully, there was no fallout. The person apologized, and then other people in the room started to apologize as well. Of course, I never forgot about it. I'm still talking about it today, but we were all able to move forward. But I wanted to share this experience with you because this experience, although is a very unpleasant one, it played a significant role in my journey. Not that, it was a good situation by no means, but I believe it forced me, it pushed me to find my voice. It pushed me to use my voice. I think it assisted me in my development as a leader, the ability to make a quick decision. As I mentioned before, it forced me to speak my mind, regardless of who was in the room, what your status is and what level of influence. And it helped me to actually command my respect. So, unfortunately, I had a couple of other experiences similar to this inside and outside of the workforce, which are unfortunate. But I just, look at them as life experiences and I push through them, and I'm still here. I can recall when I was working on that course management system project that I talked about. I remember this clerkship director. We were in a room full of people, and I was asking about requirements for the project and what everyone wanted to see in the system. And she stood up and she went on and on. I want the students to have photos. Because we need to send these photos to our affiliate hospitals, and I can't tell these Black girls apart. Oh my God, they change their hair so much. They all look alike. I cannot. And so the people in the room were like, cut it, trying to give her the sign, like, cut it. Courtney is here, and she didn't get it. She just went on and on. And then after a while, when people are like, cut, she finally stopped. And then she turned around and said, oh, no, not you, Courtney. We all know who you are. We love you. And that's a long time ago. That was a long time ago, before the word microaggressions became so popular today. But I didn't realize it. I wanted to believe that all of these experiences in my growth is Courtney Terry, the strong and resilient woman that I am today. And it was all a part of my journey. And when I started to think about my career and my life, and I just started to put, so many of the pieces together, I said, hey, this is a part of who I am. This is what makes me unique. So reset embrace your journey, the good and the bad, embrace it all. So on more of a positive note, beyond my primary responsibilities at Rutgers, I am a proud member of the Association of American Medical Colleges. That's the AAMC. It's a national leading organization that represents medical schools in the United States and in Canada. And I attended an IT conference back in San Diego in 2019. It was my first conference. I was the only representative from Rutgers at this conference, and a lot of people were like in groups, and they traveled together with other colleagues. And I just remember sitting at breakfast one day, and I was just chatting with a young lady next to me. And I didn't know at the time, this lady that I was chatting with was the chair of diversity and inclusion at the AAMC, and her name was Jessica Chen. Following that conference, I joined this amazing diversity and inclusion group, and I became an active participant. And within a few months, Jessica asked me to serve as her co-chair. A friendly, casual breakfast, a casual encounter turned into a great opportunity for me. This was another opportunity for advancement that came as a result of a good first impression. Now, what am I going to say? First impressions are important. First impressions can be long lasting. First impressions matter. I'm just going to keep drilling this into you guys. Embrace your journey. Trust the process. So I served as co-chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee for 2.5 years before then being asked to serve on its governing committee. So that governing committee is called, so I'm on the steering committee for the group of information resources. We call it the GIR. And we oversee 4 affinity groups: education technology group, a research technology group, diversity and inclusion group, and data-driven academic medical centers group. And since 2019, when I attended that San Diego conference, I had the pleasure of being a speaker and advocate for DEI at several conferences within the AAMC, speaking on a variety of topics like the role of technology in DEI, the DEI data collection process, unconscious bias in recruitment and retention, and so forth and so on. Once again, I'm embracing the journey and taking advantage of any and all opportunities that come my way and making these opportunities work for me in my career. So I'm on the steering committee for the next 3 years. And how cool is that, right? It all comes from a friendly conversation, a casual conversation at breakfast. So I took an opportunity, and I made this opportunity work for me. First impressions matter. Back at Rutgers, I am a member, in various committees, one being the Rutgers Women in IT Committee, which is a subdivision work group from the Big Ten Academic Alliance Women in Technology Group. It's a committee where, we try to empower women in IT at Rutgers through educational, social, and networking events. In February, just a few months ago, I had the pleasure of being the keynote speaker for the Big Ten mini conference. And your Amanda Thornton attended this conference. Well, she enjoyed my presentation enough that she asked me to speak to you all today. Did you hear me? Amanda Thornton, another opportunity that came from a first impression. So I'm speaking, at this Big Ten conference, and it landed me here today to speak to you all. So, again, another good first impression. I didn't know Amanda personally, but again, thank you, Amanda, for this opportunity. But first impressions are so important. First impressions can be long lasting. Again, trust the process. So I'm actually coming to you all today in my room, in my hotel room. I'm actually in Denver, Colorado. I'm presently at the AAMC's IT conference, the same conference that I was talking to you about. I'll be presenting a little later today with a few colleagues, and yet another opportunity that I'll have a little later today to make a good impression and an opportunity to meet new people. The point of sharing all of this and the point of sharing my story with you is so that you can get a glimpse of how my different experiences and somehow they came together divinely, I guess, helped me, to advance into a leadership role. So now I'd like for you all to think about your lives and think about how you got to where you are today. Did someone play a role in why you work at this awesome University of Wisconsin-Madison? How did you get here? Did someone lend a hand along the way? Did someone pay it forward? What can you do to pay it forward? Who motivated you? Because we all can be inspired by anyone, and even people that you least expect. If you think about your life, small things, small and large, good and bad, right? Think about these all, they all play a part of your journey. Look at where you are today and think about where you would like to be. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, everything is going to be perfect, because it's not. You heard my some of my unpleasant stories. Let's keep it real. I'm a double minority. I'm an African-American woman, and I'm also a woman in IT, in which we all know is a male-dominated industry, and female representation. But let's talk about that for a moment. The shortage of women in technology and STEM careers. I want to shout out to all the women on the call who are in technology. Women make up nearly half of the workforce in the United States, and only 31% of IT employees are women. How about that? Think about that disparity for a moment, but then give yourselves a pat on the back for being a part of what is called the boys club. So there's no good way to say it. Women's representation in technology in the workforce has been, a little stagnant, but we're improving, but why is this, right? There's so many reasons. They're saying that, toxic working environments, maybe feeling undervalued, not feeling included, lack of representation, at all levels. It's hard to be what you don't see. Think about that. Not seeing women in technology makes it less attractive to other women. This IT industry, is often referred to as like the bro culture, the boys club. And, many women can relate to feeling invisible, feeling unwelcomed, maybe even discriminated against. Women in leadership roles may even experience some pushback just because of their gender. These are real issues out there that many women have faced, and we have to do better. We must somehow work on this imbalance. But I'm not here to blame or put shame, on the men in IT. We appreciate you guys. We love y'all. We value you. But we just need to create a culture of diversity and inclusiveness for all underrepresented groups, regardless of your gender, regardless of your race, your sexual orientation, your age, physical, challenges or disabilities. we all need representation in IT for the betterment of future, technology initiatives and advancement. Think about biases and facial recognition technology and algorithms and things like that. We all need representation in all areas of technology to work and be accurate and for things to be reliable. We need all hands on deck, at the table and when making decisions in technology. They say that diverse teams can bring about more thriving businesses. And that's exactly what we want, don't we? Thriving businesses, thriving institutions. Therefore, we have to work together to ensure that everyone has a seat at the table and all voices are heard. The beauty of, IT is that it's constantly evolving, rapidly evolving, and so much at times that, it's kind of hard to keep up, don't you think? We went from like big bulky computers with big bulky hard drives to small and sleek laptops and iPods. So now it's iPads and iPhone generation, the first generation, and now we're like somewhere like iPhone version 50. Of course I'm exaggerating, but you get my picture. From smartphones to cloud computing, from social media to artificial intelligence, IT has really become a part of our daily lives, right? It can be challenging to keep up with all of the new technologies, all of the new gadgets, the apps, the tools, but if you're considering advancing in IT, be prepared to adapt to these changes, be prepared to be a continuous learner, and be prepared that come about, and also be prepared and be open to opportunities that lie ahead. Remember, first impressions matter. So the first step in embracing your journey into IT is to develop, a passion for technology. Stay curious and enthusiastic about your field. You will be, better equipped to learn and grow as an IT professional. Another important aspect, I would say, of embracing your journey in IT is just to be, constantly be open to learning. It's a field, like I mentioned, ever changing, new programming languages emerge regularly. It's really crucial that we broaden our knowledge base by taking courses, maybe attending webinars and seminars and participating, in online forums and communities. Networking is a crucial part of embracing your journey in IT. Building relationships with other IT can provide opportunities for collaboration, mentorship, and career advancement. Even here at the WMC, I'm making connections, networking, I'm sharing. This is what it's all about. You got to put yourself out there. Even if you're an introvert like myself, and yes, I'm an introvert, that's fine. Just connect with one or two people. You don't have to mix and mingle with everybody, in the room, not everyone in the room, make your connections. You want to develop, you also want to develop technical skills. So that's important to possess, and it's also important to possess, strong soft skills, communication, teamwork, problem solving, and time management skills. All are essential to success in the field. You as an IT professional, you want to be able to work collaboratively with others. You want to be able to solve problems and deliver projects on time and within budget. The IT field is enormous. You have the technical specialty areas like your software developers, your cybersecurity professionals, audio, visual. It's a large spectrum of specialties. And then you have the non or less technical business side of it, your IT business analysts, your systems analysts, you know, project managers, risk managers, vendor management. The great thing is about all of this, though, is that you can decide to go into different fields or follow different interests at any time. We are not stuck, and you don't have to be stuck. And you shouldn't be confined to one specific area, you know, for your entire career, unless you want to. There are many opportunities where you can find your niche, your thing, your personal thing, your own thing, your contribution, where you can actually add value and feel good about it. So the question is, how do you find your niche? How do you know if you are on the right path? And how can you thrive and advance in your career in IT? Well, I'm glad you asked. In project management, the first thing we do, right, is we talk about a plan. You always hear about a project management plan. So we create all the elements to come up with some type of plan. So think about your career as a project plan. Define the vision, define your objectives, your goals. What do I want to accomplish? You know, what do I want to achieve? Get clarity and overall goals, right? So define your why. Define the requirements. Well, what's my why? What skills are needed for my why? What skills are needed for my requirements? And then, you know, maybe create an action plan, but make sure your action plan is agile, it's fluid, it's adaptable to change as technology changes and overall life changes. And then, you know, finally, you need to set some type of realistic expectations for yourself. You know, don't say, all right, I'm going to be the president of a company by tomorrow. Unrealistic. I mean, hey, it could happen, but kind of unrealistic. Assessment, you know, first assess where you are in your current role. Do I like what I'm doing? You know, does it make me happy? Am I content? You know, do I like my job? Do I like, you know, do I like being a valuable contributor to my team? Am I a valuable contributor to my team? Am I an asset to my team? You know, what am I particularly good at? What's unique about me? What do I bring to the table? What skills am I lacking? What skills do I have that make me unique? Am I ready to advance in my career? Because I may not be ready. Am I ready for that next step? Do I want to make a change? Do I want to maybe explore other interests? Who knows? You know. Assessment is key. Self-check is key. Self-reflection is key. Self-evaluation is key. You know, it holds a mirror up to what we may be doing right and what we may be doing wrong and how we can do better. You know, we have to take inventory of particular skills and qualities that make us unique and assess which best fits our technical skills and our personalities. You know, you have to have a personality to be a certain personality to be a leader. You have to have a certain personality to be this or that. And discover your strengths to help you understand where your existing gifts and skills lie. And then you need to investigate, start doing some type of research on your areas of interest. You know, you may read articles, take LinkedIn courses, watch classes, YouTube videos. There are a lot of resources that are out there that exist, and then there are a lot of free resources. So take advantage of them and educate yourself. You know, doing this can provide insight and create a plan for your long-term goals and take you to that next level in your career. And then you have preparation. So once you find your interests, You may want to sign up for classes and perhaps certifications. This builds confidence and you'll have a clearer picture of what it takes to succeed in your chosen career. I recently received an ITIL 4 certification for IT service management. Why? Because Rutgers provided it at no cost. So now I'm certified. I also became a certified Scrum Master in Agile project management. Why? Because Rutgers provided a free opportunity for me and I took advantage of it. Preparation can be long and kind of boring and tedious, but it's necessary to get to that next level. Another thing, be committed, be focused and committed to what you believe you were meant to do. Start being aware of possible job opportunities, but keep in mind of available options and make sure you weigh your pros and cons. Am I going after pay? Am I going after enjoyment, doing what I love to do? Do I want to be in a stressful environment? Do I want to be in a less stressful environment? Peace of mind may be key for you. Really think about your life and really think about how you want to live your life. And then make your decisions based on that. Do I want to relocate? That's also an option. But listen, by no means am I trying to encourage any of you out there to leave your wonderful institution of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, by no means. But I just want to throw it out there for you to think about, when you're planning your next steps. And retention. Think about retention. The higher you climb, the more tempting it is to become complacent. So keep your eyes on what's next, but remain committed to continuous improvement. When you stop learning, you stop growing. I'm going to say that again. That's like a mic drop right there. When you stop learning, you stop growing. So I have some advice that I wanted to share with you from various leaders in the IT industry, some words of wisdom. They say take time to research jobs in tech, that interest you. So ask people who are in your field, what does your day look like? Another thing, they say network, which I mentioned earlier, attend webinars, conferences, meet new people, look for opportunities to engage with others. There's so many virtual events that don't require travel expenses anymore. Take advantage of it. This is a virtual event. Mentorship programs. Maybe you want to find a mentor or become a mentor. It can be rewarding on either side. And if you are in position to hire staff, maybe provide opportunities to build and cultivate diverse teams. Also, you may want to develop talent within your institution. Some companies are so quick to go on the outside for recruitment when they can develop, staff within. And I really like this one. Say yes, even if you only know 60% of the work. There's no magic, only stuff you don't know yet. And 90% of jobs require training anyway. So go for it. Don't short yourself. Don't compare yourselves to others. Focus on you. Comparing yourself to others will only lower your confidence and will have you feeling frustrated and unfocused and unmotivated. Now, I know I said a lot today, but to summarize it all, you've heard my theme, first impressions are important. First impressions can be long lasting. First impressions matter. So we want to embrace your journey. You want to trust the process and take the good and the bad. Remember, you are your own brand. What you do, how you do it, your worth ethic is all a part of your brand. You play an important role on how you deliver yourself, your interactions with people, your interpersonal skills, the way you carry yourself, your follow through, all of it can contribute to how others see you and their impressions of you. So your elements, of your smile, your eye contact, simple gestures, and your posture all can contribute to a good first impression. Now, fortunately for me, I've made positive impressions that provided me with opportunities that helped to change the trajectory of my career, but it did not come without a cost, right? Hard work, dedication, consistency, determination, patience, strength, courage, adversity, bumps and bruises along the way. And actually, I have some takeaways for you. Amanda, can you please show my slide? Awesome, thank you. So this is what I've learned in my career that I want to share with you. Self-promotion, branding, and building your presence. What is your brand? What do you want people to think about you? What do you want to show the world? Think about that for a moment. What do people think of you when your name comes up in a room? Promote yourself. No one can sell you better than you can. Remember, first impressions can be long lasting. First impressions are important. You never know who you are talking to or speaking with, or you never know who's watching you. Just think about my stories. And then there's confidence. Number 2, know your worth. There is a quote, "You must find courage to leave the table if respect is no longer being served." Know who you are and know what you bring to the table and be confident about that. And number 3, find your voice. Integrity and honesty comes first. Value yourself and speak up for what you want and for what you believe in. And trust me, you can't go wrong. Number 4, continuous learning. Educate yourself. Don't rest in mediocrity. Who wants to be mediocre? Continue to learn, attend workshops, take classes that we talked about, keep abreast of trends and ever-changing technology. And then last, number 5, build your network. Get a good support system, people who have your back, friendships help, you can bounce ideas with like-minded people, but you also need to build a diverse network. We tend to gravitate to people who are like ourselves, and that's all great for perhaps, sharing similar experiences. But in the end, it's good to build a diverse network, because that's when the real and true learning process begins. But in closing, embracing your journey in IT requires a commitment to continuous improvement. This means, setting your goals like we talked about, seeking feedback, and regularly, evaluating your progress. What am I doing? What am I, where do I want to go next? By continuously learning and striving for excellence, you can stay ahead of the curve and make meaningful contributions to the field of IT. A career in IT can be challenging and rewarding. To embrace your journey, you must develop a passion. Be open to learning, build your network, possess strong soft skills. We talked about that. With all of these qualities, you can thrive. You can thrive. You can be anything that you want to be. I know it sounds so cliche, but you can. Remember that the journey is where we learn, is where we grow. The journey is where we become uncomfortable, where we are challenged, where we become stronger. The journey is where we become wiser, but we become more awesome and awesome versions of ourselves. So instead of trying to reach our goals so quickly, comparing ourselves to others and adding unwanted stress that we don't need. We should make the most of every opportunity. Keep the door open for knowledge and release that awesomeness that is inside of you. So thank you for your time and embrace your journey in IT. And I'm rooting for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Courtney. There was so much good advice in there. It was wow, it said so much. Do you have time?
Overload everyone. But...
Do you have time for some Q&A? Do you have time for a couple of questions?
I have time.
Great.
Sure.
I have many, but there are a few from our audience at the moment.
How's the connection? I was worried about the connection a little bit.
You're great. Your video is great. Your connection
Awesome.
is smooth. Your video was, there were a couple of little hiccups in the audio, but it worked itself out in a couple of seconds. So
Okay.
all good. We do have a question about next levels and what do different next levels. Not everybody wants to be manager, director. They want to grow where they are and grow in their expertise of, I'm a software developer, so maybe a software developer to a software architect or something. Do all of these things still apply to those sorts of different paths?
Yes, of course they do. All of these things apply, no matter where you are, no matter what level. Not everyone wants to be, a president of a company. Not everyone wants to be a leader. Some people are very happy doing what they love to do. It's all about what you want to do, your particular interests. How, even when I mentioned earlier about, choosing your work environment, a private industry versus, a nonprofit or a state institution, that deals with, there's different stresses in both environments. It depends on how you want to live, and what your priorities are. Think about your families. It all depends on you. But yes, the advice that I gave today applies to everyone, even people in senior management. They sometimes feel that they're stuck and they want to go elsewhere, and or even if you don't, if you're an introvert and you love coding and this is what you like to do, you don't want to really be out there and in the public eye, and that's perfect. That's fine. At least, actually people that know what they want to do and where they feel comfortable doing exactly what they do now. I admire people like that, because, that means that you must love your particular job. You love what you're doing. And I say go for it. But just remember no matter where you are, just remember to be open to learning more. So if you want to code forever, just be open to learn more and be the best darn coder you can be, right?
And part of the reason I wanted for you to talk to our audience today was to help folks that are either coming into IT from traditionally non-IT careers, or coming in from a different, or don't feel like they are IT, or they're in data, so they're sort of IT adjacent. And how can we help everybody feel like they belong in tech? And okay, what's the specific question there? You talk a lot about making it welcome for diverse people, diverse applicants, diverse voices in the room, and then and all of that applies to career changers as well. When you listed off the soft skills, I could hear a lot of things that applied to, I had a mentee who was an elementary school teacher and switched into IT. And I was like, that is fantastic. That's all the skills you need, right? That sounds like project management to me. Right. But it's hard for folks that are doing that to see themselves in IT, and how can we help with that, and how can they help themselves?
Well,
like take up space.
Right. So when I started, I mentioned that I had a degree in public health administration. Somewhere down the line, I turned into the IT world. So, that is very normal that people change paths And what I really like about IT is that, it's such a gamut of different specialties that we're not stuck, and we can easily just switch to different interests, right? There's nothing saying that we have to stay in one area. And yes, you may not be a techie tech person. I'm not a techie tech. I talked about how, there are certain specialties, and then there's the less technical side of it, like business analysts, like systems analysts, and but I see there's nothing wrong with it. You need that. I mean, I can't code, I can, but I am a part of this. I'm a woman in IT, and I can, create a project from an idea and implement it and make it work. So yes, I'm an IT, whether I know how to fix my computer or not. And you should feel the same way.
We're getting some great comments in the chat,
I-
like, no, I have a degree in Russian literature. I have, one of my
Right.
friends has a communications or English degree, and it's like, oh no, and they're a great IT manager. So
Yeah, you just fall in love with what you're doing, and I think it's fine, right? I think that's fine. And I think the beauty of it is, like, think about it, some careers you have, if you go to school, you want to be a doctor, say you want to, you want to specialize in anesthesia, just making it up. Okay. They're kind of stuck in anesthesia. We're not. We have a gamut of stuff that we could learn. It's, oh, someone saying that they were museum curator. Oh, that's, oh, history, journalism, psychology. Okay, right.
thank you everybody for putting those in there. I know that'll help some folks that are
so
feeling
cool.
like imposters. So
Right. No, that's cool. That's cool. Who said we have to stay?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. There's a long one. Give me a moment to read. Okay, Nick. I was really moved by your frozen moment story. I know every situation is different and everyone has different needs, but is there anything you wish that other people in the room had done or said that might have taken some of the burden off you? Okay, all right. Can I do the help? Okay, that was a loaded question, Nick. We're talking 20 years ago, so things have changed a little bit, I would say a little bit, but there's definitely things that people could have done. There's in situations like that, you need allies, and sometimes a person doesn't. I want to look at some people like they're not all bad, right? You just don't know any better. You're ignorant to what's going on. So the person who made the joke, was it a terrible person? Probably not. But others in the room definitely could have said something to stop it from getting further. And I should not have been the person to have stopped to speak up. I felt terrible, in that situation. And even the second scenario that I mentioned, when the lady talked about the student photos, and she just went on and on. That lady was just another situation where she wasn't a bad person. She just spoke out of term. And that's how I choose to look at it. That's how I choose to look at it. And that's, I don't want to look at every situation and just, there's good people and there's bad people, but what others could have done. And in the situation with the photos, people tried. They were trying to give her like visuals, like to, hey, cut it, but no one spoke up. And yes, it's really important to have allies, and that's just not for for people of color. That should be for everyone. If you see someone that's being mistreated or any microaggressions coming at someone, you need to speak up and say something. I have an issue right now in my neighborhood where a neighbor asked me, I'm new in a neighborhood. I've been living there for almost 2 years, and I walk in my neighborhood frequently, and someone asked me to walk with them, and I joined this lady for a walk, and she just started talking about certain neighbors, and it was just very racist comments. What she was talking about Asian Indians, and it was very negative, very racist. And I said, hey, I don't do that. I don't do that. So if we're going to be cordial, if we're going to walk together, I do not talk about people. And that's very racist, what you're saying. And so, yeah, but we need people to speak up. And a lot of times people are afraid to, because they're afraid of what the outcome is going to be.
It can feel risky to
It can feel risky. And
it's
actually,
important.
I actually stopped the interactions with her because I actually gave her another chance. And we walked again, and she said some other things. And so I just let it go. And, I did try to educate her. I felt like I was being tested. Hey, I'm the DEI, co-chair. I can do this. I can handle this, but you can't save everybody. You can't save everyone. And that's what I have to realize, that I can't save everyone. I can do my best to educate people, but yeah.
I look forward to a day where everybody can learn and grow in their own and not have to deal with horrible experiences to looking back and saying, hey, that was formative. No, let's see where we can get without that stuff. So
yeah, well, yeah, we can all use it as opportunities and just be aware of it. And sometimes, even with the frozen moments thing, sometimes if you don't speak up right then and there, I mean, which you should, but if you don't, there may be opportunities that maybe you can go back to a person and say, hey, I didn't really understand, I didn't like what you said, or, so think about that as well. And
do we have a slightly more complex question? Or Julie asked, do you have advice for DEI advocates in the face of legislative restrictions? We see a lot of stuff getting passed at state level governments, and then legislation being tossed around at the national level. And I don't know that this might be outside the scope of this conversation, but it was asked.
Do I have any advice on DEI legislation?
Yeah, or what we can do as like one voice, I guess, against this sort of, it feels unsurmountable to say, okay, our legislature is debating what now?
Well, yeah, I try. I try not to engage in political conversation. But I guess.
Vote.
Yeah,
do what we can.
Vote. There you go. Vote. That's a good one. Get me out of that one. Good.
It's hard. It's because you think that they're not listening and nobody's listening, and
but
then I got one vote.
Always things that people. There's always things that you can do that people don't think about. Like that can be a big deal, right? You could start within your circle, your family. You could, you can be an advocate for DEI around your peers. So if you hear people say things that are, out of pocket or insensitive or racially offensive, then, that's your opportunity to speak up. And in terms of, embracing and encouraging people in their careers, there's so many opportunities out there. You can work with folks in your local school system. They have career days. You can go speak to, go into the certain neighborhoods, that where the underrepresented groups are, and encourage students. You could be a mentor to some people. But it kind of all starts with us,
All right.
and how we behave, others sometimes will follow.
All right, I'm getting notes that we need to wrap it up. So thank you so much, Courtney, for your talk today and for answering our questions. Thanks for the people in chat that were asking questions. We have lots
Awesome.
of great sessions today. Our next one starts at 10:30. The recording of this session will be up as soon as we can get it captioned.
Thank you for having
get
me
the
here.
captions connected with the things. Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you, Courtney.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody coming. Check out all of our stuff for the next 2 days. All the things are in the Zoom events. So thanks.